In this video, we're going to actually create a pivot table, and you will be amazed at how easy and simple it is to do that. Our goal here is to determine which of these two salespeople won a sales contest. We have a bunch of transactions here, and we want to add them up and see who won. Now, there are three different ways we can solve this problem. Let's go through each one so you can appreciate the power of the pivot table. The old way of doing it is to simply sort the data, separate Ashley and Ben's data, and then do a calculation, do a sum of the amounts for each one. Okay, so first thing we need to do here is sort it. So we just sort by salesperson. It's easy to do. All we need to do, if the table is well behaved, there's no blank rows, no blank columns, and only one row of labels at the top. Fine. So what we need to do is just right click one of these cells here in the salesperson column, go to sort and sort A to Z. There Ashley goes at the top, Ben's at the bottom, and I want to insert a row right here. Right click that, go insert, and then I'll put a little auto sum here. Click on the auto sum button here, and that puts a sum, hit the enter key. That's great. Okay, then go down to the bottom, do the same thing here. Click auto sum again, and hit the enter key. And we get that. You can see the results there, 2505 versus 2542. It seems like Ashley has a little bit of an edge there. Okay, so there it is. We've sorted it and we divided it into two groups. Now the problem is we've changed the structure of our data here. We've broken it in two groups and put a sum total in there, a sum in there in the middle, which is that changes the thing. That's and also it did involve a number of keystrokes. And if we wanted to get further information, say, for example, which of these products is the best-selling product or the best customer, we have to do a whole bunch of extra work, undo what we did and do something else. Okay, so let's go to the sales to sheet and try a different technique. Now, there's actually a nice tool that you could use to do what we just did. It's called the subtotal tool. And all you need to do, if the table is well behaved, just click any cell in the table here, and we'll go up to the data tab. Oh, first we have to do is sort the data, just like we did before. So again, we'll just right-click any cell in the salesperson group, go to sort A to Z. There, we've separated the two, okay? And then we can go up here into the data group, data tab here. Way over on the right side is a little button here called subtotal. We click on that, it says, okay, we want to do a subtotal at each change in what? Well, not date. We want to change that. We're grouping it by salesperson, so we'll click on that one there. We're going to use the sum function to add things up, and the thing we're going to add up is the amount, so Excel guessed the right one, and then we just hit the OK button, and there it is. And again, we have a nice little total here, and we have 2542, just like we had before, and for Ben, we have 2505, and we have a grand total here. Okay, so also you notice here, when we use the subtotal tool, we have this area here on the left side. This is for outlining. We have three levels of outlining here. The third level here is which is what we're in. We're seeing all the details. If I click on the second level just shows the subtotals for Ashley and Ben. And if I click on one, of course, it just shows the grand total. Well, that's interesting there. And do that. Okay, now that's pretty nice. It's a nice thing to do. The problem is now if we need to find out who the best-selling product is or the best customer, we have to undo what we did and do it all over again. We sort it a different way and then bring up the subtotal too. So it's a little more work. Better than we did before, but still more work. By the way, if you want to undo this, okay, basically just go up here, click on the subtotal tool, click on the remove all button, and it goes back to the way it was. All right, let's go into sales 3 and let's try this pivot table. Now, again, the data is well behaved. There's no blank rows, no blank columns, only one row of labels at the top. So all we need to do is click any cell here, any cell in this table, and then we'll go up to the Insert tab, and we've got two choices. We can start from scratch using this button here, or we can take advantage of this button here, Recommended Pivot Tables. We click on that, and you see there's a bunch of recommendations here. First one, not so good. That just tells us what the best products are. Second one tells us that's pretty good. Actually it breaks it down by salespeople. Pretty good. So let's use that one. We'll just select that and click OK. There it is. Okay, we've created a new sheet, or Excel created a new sheet for us. And here's our pivot table over here on the left. Let me zoom in so you see it a little better. And over on the right side, we have this area here called pivot table fields. Now, when we're talking about pivot tables, We're actually in the database world. And in the database world, they try to make things a little more complicated than they need to. They don't call them columns anymore. They call them fields, right? If we go back into our data sales tree, there's our columns, date, salesperson, item. If we go back in here, sheet 1, it's date, salesperson, item. So instead of columns, they call them fields. And then below this list of fields, there are some boxes, filters, columns, rows, and values. And there's nothing in the filters or columns box, but there is something in the rows and the values box. And by moving things in and out of these different boxes, we can change the way our pivot table looks. Now, right now, we have some good numbers here, but that's a little pretty daunting here. We've got way too many decimal places. Let's fix the format of these numbers. How do you do that? Well, when in doubt, right-click, okay? Right-click any of these numbers and choose number format right there. There it goes. And then we can have a bunch of different formats. I'm going to click on number. I don't need any decimal places here, but I do want the commas, so click on that checkbox there for use comma separator, and that looks pretty good. Okay, we get the same results as before, 25 and 2505, 2543 and 2505, and plus the grand total. Also, look at this, we get the data on the customers, and you can see our best customer is Adams. The best customer for Ben is going to be Burton here, but Adams is the best overall. Pretty nice, pretty nice. Okay, so that's the pivot table. Okay, it's very nice and easy. How many mouse clicks? Couple of mouse clicks to set it up. It's a very nice way, and we get a lot of information. And yet, that is just scratching the surface of what pivot tables can do for us. So just to review, the subtotal tool basically just divides data into groups, calculates those subtotals and averages, and the procedure is basically first you divide the data into groups, then you click on data subtotal and then choose which column groups. In this case, it was salesperson, and then click OK. Formatting numbers is very simple. Just right-click any number, choose number format, and choose the desired format. Okay, next we're going to improve on our pivot table and show you what else we can get from it.